Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Rainwater's odd Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13 line could spell the Dutton Ranch's ending. A seemingly out-of-place conversation between Rainwater and Mo in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13, Give the World Away, could foreshadow the way the neo-western will wrap up what might be its final season. Give the World Away focused mostly on Beth's attempt to sell off most of the Dutton Ranch's livestock to pay off part of the mortgage on the ranch, following confirmation that Yellowstone's John Dutton is dead. However, it also includes a conversation between Mo and Rainwater that doesn't seem connected to the rest of the story. While most of Yellowstone's cast are involved in the Dutton Ranch auction and John's funeral, Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13 has a scene where Mo and Rainwater discuss a proposed pipeline that would go through the reservation. Rainwater observes that the indigenous population has been at war for 160 years. This seemingly out-of-place moment offers a new conflict for the indigenous people, but does nothing to wrap up Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2. However, it may be more significant than it seems. Rainwater's issue is with a proposed pipeline that would go through the reservation. Although the land is supposed to belong to the indigenous people, this pipeline would be commissioned by city officials and would be placed underneath the reservation without the permission of tribal leaders. Thus, Rainwater is determined to stop the pipeline from being built. To this end, he tells Mo that the pipeline cannot be built if they do not have any pipe. This conflict is parallel to the conflict over the ranch. Before John Dutton's death, he and Beth were working together to stop developers from building an airport next to the ranch and buying most of the Dutton property to build a ski resort. However, Jamie has been working with the developers since John's death to undo the steps he took to protect the property. Thus, Beth and Case may lose the ranch to the developers, just as the indigenous people stand to lose their right to decide what happens to their land if the pipeline project goes ahead. These similar crises give Case the opportunity to work with Rainwater to solve both problems. Case could use his influence with Rainwater to strike a deal in which he gives Rainwater the ranch, and then buys it back from him in exchange for ensuring that the pipeline project is canceled and indigenous land is protected from future developments of this nature. Case alludes to such a deal during the ending of Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13, though he keeps the specifics to himself. Rainwater could also get other concessions from Case, such as following some indigenous customs related to respecting the land's sacredness. However, the pipeline is of prime importance, as its existence would squeeze the indigenous population into an even smaller parcel of land and interfere with their right to make decisions about the land themselves. Thus, this seemingly irrelevant conflict might play a large role in Yellowstone's final wrap-up. Yellowstone, the neo-Western drama that has captivated millions, thrives on its rich tapestry of complex characters, intense rivalries, and existential threats to the iconic Dutton Ranch. Among these multifaceted players is Thomas Rainwater, the shrewd leader of the Broken Rock Reservation, whose enigmatic dialogue in Season 5, Episode 13, might hold the key to the series' ultimate direction. In this pivotal episode, Rainwater's cryptic remark raises questions about the fate of the Duttons and their sprawling Montana empire. Could this seemingly minor moment spell the end of the Yellowstone Ranch? Setting the stage, the context of Rainwater's line. Season 5 has been a whirlwind of alliances, betrayals, and power struggles. The Dutton family, led by patriarch John Dutton, is under siege from multiple fronts. Environmental activists, land developers, and political adversaries have all targeted the ranch. Meanwhile, Rainwater, who has often played both adversary and reluctant ally to the Duttons, has his own agenda, reclaiming ancestral lands and securing the future of his people. In Episode 13, during a tense meeting with John Dutton, Rainwater utters a line that seems innocuous at first, but gains weight upon reflection. Every empire falls, John. Yours is no different. The words are steeped in historical inevitability and serve as a reminder that no dynasty, no matter how powerful, is immune to decline. The weight of history, empires and their downfalls. Rainwater's remark draws parallels between the Dutton Ranch and historical empires. The analogy is apt. The Duttons have ruled over their land with a feudal sense of sovereignty, defending it with an almost militaristic fervor. Like ancient empires, their power is built on conquest, sacrifice, and relentless vigilance. Yet history teaches us that empires often collapse from within due to corruption, hubris, and internal strife, or are toppled by external forces too formidable to resist. For the Duttons, the signs of decay are evident. John's health is failing, Beth's aggressive tactics alienate potential allies, and Jaime's political aspirations have turned him into a dangerous enemy. Add to this the external threats of modernization and corporate greed, and Rainwater's prophecy begins to feel less like an idle comment and more like an inevitability. Rainwater's dual role, prophet and strategist. Rainwater's character has always walked a fine line between antagonist and pragmatist. His goals often clash with the Duttons, yet his methods are calculated and rooted in long-term vision. By invoking the idea of empire collapse, he's not merely taunting Jon, he's acknowledging a universal truth while subtly positioning himself as a survivor in the inevitable fallout. If the Yellowstone Ranch were to fall, Rainwater and the Broken Rock Reservation could emerge as beneficiaries. Reclaiming the land, or at least part of it, would be a monumental victory for his people. Rainwater's odd line may, therefore, serve a dual purpose, a reflection on the cyclical nature of power and a strategic nudge to hasten the Duttons' decline. Foreshadowing through dialogue. Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan is a master of foreshadowing. Rainwater's line fits seamlessly into a series where seemingly throwaway comments later resurface as pivotal turning points. For instance, consider how Rip's warnings about loyalty have come to define his arc, or how Case's visions of a path have hinted at his eventual estrangement from the ranch. Rainwater's words could be a similar narrative seed. By framing the Dutton struggle as part of a larger historical pattern, the show subtly prepares the audience for the possibility of their downfall. The line forces viewers to confront the fragility of the Yellowstone Ranch and the Dutton legacy. The Duttons' vulnerabilities. Rainwater's statement hits home because the Duttons are uniquely vulnerable. Unlike many empires that collapse over centuries, the Yellowstone Ranch is facing a perfect storm of challenges in a matter of years. These include internal conflict. Jaime's vendetta against his family is reaching dangerous heights. His alignment with market equities and other external forces threatens the ranch from within. Legal and political pressures. Jon's tenure as governor has been fraught with controversy, and his decisions often prioritize the ranch over the state. This has made him enemies in the political sphere, including Jaime and others who see an opportunity to exploit his vulnerabilities. Environmental and corporate threats. Market equities represents the relentless march of modernization, a force that views the Duttons' land not as a heritage to be preserved, but as a commodity to be exploited. Personal struggles. The Duttons' individual flaws and traumas, Beth's vengefulness, Casey's indecision, and Jon's stubbornness make them ill-equipped to navigate the multifaceted crises they face. Possible endgames for the Yellowstone Ranch. Rainwater's ominous remark invites speculation about how the series might conclude. Several scenarios align with his vision of empire collapse. Economic ruin. The Duttons could lose the ranch through financial mismanagement, legal battles, or overwhelming debts. Rainwater and other stakeholders might then step in to reclaim the land. Political overthrow. Jaime's machinations could result in Jon's removal from power and the ranch's seizure by the state or corporate interests. Betrayal from within. A family member, most likely Jamie, but possibly another, could deliver the fatal blow, either by selling out the ranch or undermining its defenses. Violent conflict. The series could culminate in a violent showdown, leaving the land scared and its ownership unresolved. Restoration and rebirth. Alternatively, the ranch might fall, only to be reborn under new stewardship, possibly with Case or Tate as symbolic heirs to a more sustainable legacy. Rainwater's vision, a warning or an opportunity?